All right, YouTube. I'm not in the greatest mood. It is Sunday now. It's really coming down to the wire. I have to install the harness. I naively thought that I could just order a new harness and it would be a simple swap out of the old one, but I didn't realize the old one was a 5-point harness. The new one is a 6-point harness, and it requires entirely new mounting points and drilling through the sheet metal of the car. And I have no idea how to do it, and the instructions suck. They're not really instructions. There's a few videos out there that are kind of general instructions, but nothing that I can find that are specific to this car and this harness. So I got to figure this out. I don't have much time. I also have to install the window net and mount the tires and do a few more things before the first track day next weekend. And my day job is extremely busy. I have virtually no time during the work week because I work most of the day and then I work out. I'll probably have to sacrifice the gym a little bit this week, but as far as doing race car stuff during the work week, I really can't do it. That's why I rely on my weekends to do most of the stuff. And yeah, I don't have much time. I'm pretty stressed out, but let's see if we can figure out this seatbelt or this harness mounting install. Let's go. Also, it's not bright and early Sunday. It's already almost 5 p.m. because I've had a bunch of other stuff I've had to do today because, yeah, just a lot going on. So anyways, I'll walk you through the situation of kind of what we have going on here in the car with the harness and kind of figure it out as I go. All right, here we are inside the car. I removed the padding from the seat. So this is just I think it's an aluminum piece that is bolted onto the race car. In order to mount the new harness, I need to drill new mounting points with they're called eye bolts. The current harness or the old harness you can't really see it from here, but these little slits down here and just a different mounting procedure because it was a 5-point harness. So in order to drill the new holes and everything, I have to remove this seat. I haven't tried yet to do it, but there's maybe 6 or 8 bolts, but they're kind of hidden under these holes and around the seat, so we'll see how difficult that is. Hopefully none of them are stripped. One of the nuts below the car that comes up through the sheet metal looked like it was rounded off, which is not good. So I have to remove the seat. Here is it's craziness going on here. What you're seeing here are the current seat, so the Kirky. This is the one I'm going to be used with padding. Honestly, I didn't realize the padding was ripped. Once it's in the seat, you can't really tell, but yeah, kind of a mess now. If you're wondering why I'm not using that seat, it's kind of in better condition. It's a fiberglass piece rather than the aluminum that's bolted onto the car, and I think you need different brackets, but also this seat's just a little too narrow for me. To be honest, the Kirky's a little wide, so neither are ideal, but I'd rather have, I need to be able to fit in the seat. You don't want to be moving around, so it's not good that it's wide, but with race suit on and everything and with the harness, I should be tight. So I'm going with the Kirky. And then here's the new harness. This is a Lifeline 6-point harness. And here's all the mounting hardware, the eye bolts and washers and nuts. And yeah, I have to figure it out. I actually ran to Harbor Freight while I was out running errands and doing other stuff earlier today to get some stepped drill bits. This is good for drilling into sheet metal. I think it creates a cleaner cut. And then I also got some Rust-Oleum prime filler because apparently you want to be mindful of rust, of course. And then I also got this just an angle finder, which because you have to mount the harness at specific angles, and that's the part that I'm most concerned about in terms of getting right, because obviously the harness is an extremely critical safety point and you have to get it right. So let's go ahead and look at what they call instructions, which I wouldn't call them instructions, and kind of just see what we need to do first. All right, let's go ahead and remove the seat. I'll try to film as much as possible, but I am under a time crunch, and my priority, of course, is getting this right. And if I can document the process along the way, great. If it helps people, even better. So I'll try to document some of it and tell you what I learned. And part of the benefit for me when I film and post videos is you guys reach out, at least a select few of you, and give me tips, because I'm doing everything from, like, I've never done any of this before, and all the tips and tricks and stuff, I appreciate those because it helps me for next time. So that's one of the benefits that I get from filming and putting on YouTube. Anyways, let's take the seat out. All right, I'm actually not yet convinced I want to take the seat out, because there are some bolts that are very tricky to get to. Like, I don't know, like there's one here and then there's one there, and I can't even get to this one with my sockets. So I haven't figured out how to get to those. So I'm looking at the diagram here, you know, the start of the instructions, and the harness, it has to be mounted at a specific angle, okay? And so if you see here, the anti-submarine belt, which is the crotch belt, the one that comes up between your legs, that has to be mounted straight below you or 20 degrees back. The lap belts have to be mounted kind of behind you at a 60-degree angle, plus or minus 10 degrees, and then the ones above have to be at a 0-degree angle, so horizontal, or slightly, 20 degrees downward. Now, I guess I intuitively or conceptually understand that, but I got this angle finder and I feel like an idiot, because now I'm like, okay, putting it down here, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how I'm using it to find the angles. So I'm kind of just gonna look at this and conceptually feel it out and see if I'm in the right spot. Okay, I'm kind of feeling like, when you procrastinated and have a massive paper due the next day in college and you haven't done anything and you have no clue where or how to start. I feel like that right now. I'm heating up. I'm getting pretty stressed out. I don't know if this seat is even compatible with the harness. Just looking at the geometry, the crotch belts are supposed to be straight below or angled back 20 degrees, and there's two of them. And so, if anything, that suggests that they should be mounted, the eye bolts, kind of somewhere around here. And so the question is, where do they come back up through the seat? Do they come back up through one central location? Because they're not supposed to come over the seat. They have to come up through. And this is the only hole that this seat has. So now I'm wondering, does the seat need to be compatible with the belts? The same thing back here with the geometry. If you notice, look from behind, the roll bar there is slightly above those holes in the seat. But the belt needs to be either at a straight line, you can see that right there, or at an angle downward. And so in order to get that angle downward, we can't do that here. If anything, the belts have to go upward at an upward angle. So to get a downward angle, I'm thinking we'd have to go back there and drill somewhere down there so the belts can kind of rest here and then go at a downward angle. But I genuinely am like very uncertain about all of this. Like, I'm stuck. So I'm just kind of trying to understand my options here. All right, I just got off the phone with a trusted, basically a mentor, a trusted source who is the one who helped me buy this car, and I kind of tried to get his advice here. He did recommend taking the seat out because the current mounting points for the old harness, which are here, they're in front of the seat, and the 6-point harness, the mounts, they have to be under the seat. Like I showed you in that diagram, they have to be under the seat or slightly back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the seat, which should be a challenge in and of itself given how obstructed these bolts are. I'm going to drill 2 holes, basically from a center point, a couple inches out from the center point, right around here. Those 2 holes will hold the eye bolts. The seat belts will attach to each of those. They'll come up here through this hole and then out back up to the clip where I buckle in. So I'm going to do that and in terms of back here, so again, one of the challenges was this upward angle where we need a downward or flat angle for the belts. So it's possible I may need to shim up the seat an inch or so, but before I do that, I probably need to make sure that I fit in the car with my helmet and, you know, have enough clearance there. So it's a little bit of a puzzle, but at least I feel like I can take the next step, which is to remove the seat. All right, I've been out here for about 2 hours now, and all I've physically managed to do is undo 3 bolts. I'm not kidding. Between all the figuring out what to do, calling people, troubleshooting, assessing the situation, seeing what my options are, researching online, I've removed 3 bolts. For the past almost hour, I've been trying to get out the seat, and I've been going from above and below. Ultimately, I was able to go from below, but basically what I'm doing is I'm keeping these bolts here steady or still with a wrench, and I'm going underneath with a socket and twisting here. This one was completely stripped. That was real hard to get off, but now I got to go further down the car over towards where the to the right of the driver, and I was able to get these by holding both above and below the car, one arm above, one arm below. I'm not going to be able to do that over there, obviously, because it's too far under the car, and it's only me here, so I'm not sure how I'm going to get these bolts out. After about an hour and a half, I think I got all the bolts out. So I'm going to try to lift up the seat. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Obviously these 2 were incredibly easy, but the ones down there I had to go kind of up from under and over with one hand each to secure the nuts so I could use the ratchet wrench to unscrew. So, all right, let's see if I can take the seat out here. Nice. Make sure I don't lose the bolts, which are still in here. Well, that was actually a milestone. that was difficult. Check out all this rust in here. Oh my gosh. That's not good. Well, no seat. So now it's time to drill the holes where we need the harness mounts. Okay, now that the seat's out, I am testing to see if these eye bolts that were provided with the harness can fit into the existing holes that are drilled, which are here and here. So I just removed this piece here from the old harness. It looks like this new eye bolt will fit in here. So I'm going to remove that, put the eye bolt there. Those I don't need. I guess I'll just leave those. Those are for the 5-point harness, but I'm not using those. I'm going to drill 2 new holes. This is 8 inches back, which is about under, like straight down from where I want the harness. And then I'll drill a hole, I guess, an inch or 2 to the right, an inch or 2 to the left. And then that'll be the crotch belts. These belts, the lap belts, should work here. And then still haven't figured out what I'm going to do about the roll bar, because the shoulder straps, because they have to mount at a downward angle, and the way the seat goes, it'll have a mounting at an upward angle. So still have to figure that out. So they used a lot of shims here, 4 washers. So I guess I don't know why. I guess they needed the mounting point to come out a bit. So that's removed, and I'll add the new eye bolt here. I just realized I forgot when I added the eye bolt here, I forgot to use any of the provided washers, so I gotta redo that. Okay, I marked 2 points from the center, a little X here, a little X here. I made sure that there's no fuel lines or anything going underneath. And so I'm going to use this drill bit. It's a step drill bit. I bought a few of these at Harbor Freight for like $8. I've seen in the videos people were using these. They look like little cones or Christmas trees. They were using these to drill through the sheet metal, and they have little, hold on. Can you kind of see little markers? You can kind of see it of the diameter of the hole, the size hole you want to drill. So you kind of just stop where you think you stop where you want it to be. So let's try that. All right, I poked through. Now I'm going to check from below, just to double check I'm not going through any fuel lines or anything like that. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to keep drilling to about this point, which is 7/16, which is the size of the eye bolt. Wow, pretty cool. I've never used one of these. I'm going to double check again because the hole is getting wider. I want to make sure I'm still not hitting anything. Oh no, we're good. We're plenty good. So, let's see. It's about there. Still a little bit to go. Alright, I'm going to stop there and then get the eye bolt just to see if it'll fit. Okay, here's the bolt. Okay, not quite. Still got a little bit to go. Alright, you can feel it kind of step to each step, I guess. That's why they call it a step drill bit. I think that's good. Let's see, it's not exactly... I'm going to see if it's going under. Here, I'll show you under. Oh yeah, it's coming through. Perfect. Alright, it's getting late. I took a wire brush and sanded, removed as much rust as I could, vacuumed it up, and I think I'm going to, for now, for tonight, apply some of this filler primer. I've seen a few videos where people apply some sort of sealant here, Rust-Oleum, rust protection, when they drill the holes, which, by the way, I drilled the holes here. So 2 holes here. This is where the center mounting brackets, eye bolts will go. This feels like it's a little far apart than I would like, but I tried to keep it wide enough so that it wouldn't puncture. There's a center rail going through the middle here, and that might be carrying some fuel lines, I'm not sure, some sort of hoses. So I kept them wide. I'm going to spray this and then call it a night and let it dry, and then I guess pick it back up tomorrow. Alright, I applied the first coat. I'm trying to step away because it is very pungent. I'm going to wait a few minutes, apply another coat, and then let it cure overnight. Alright, it is the next night. It's Monday evening. Let's resume progress on the harness install. It looks like the primer has cured. Everything's dry. No more visible rust. Who knows if that really helped? I hope it did. So I sprayed above the holes and then also below the car, and then all around here. I also picked up some stainless steel fender washers, which I will put below the car. I'll put at the bottom under the sheet metal to, I guess, prevent the bolts from pulling straight through the car. So let's do that. Alright, so I'm going to go from above. I take the eye bolt. I'll put the this little, I forget what these are called, washer here, a lock washer I guess, and then put that over the small washer, and then from the bottom I'll come up with this big fender washer and then the nut around it. So here's one ready to go. Just stick this through and then go from under. Alright, so come up from the bottom, the fender washer and then the nut. I put a wood block on top of the eye bolt in the car just so it has some weight on it, so that I could put this on. Alright, now that's on. Just hand tighten it for now. But the booklet did provide torque specs, so I'll do that in a minute. Let's do the other one. Alright, this one just barely fits with this center tube here. or this centerpiece, the washer's just narrow enough to not get blocked on that. That being said, it's not sitting completely flush with this tray because some of the welding piece there is getting in the way. Alright, I got the eye bolts in. They're not torqued up yet because every time I try to torque it, the bolts keep spinning, and I haven't found a way to keep them locked in place here. But I'm going to test fit the seat with this anti-submarine belt in. So I've clipped it onto these here. I've shortened the belt here, tightened it, and now I'm going to put the seat in. So I'm going to grab that, pop it in. So I mean, I think it's okay, but do we really want to just think it's okay? I need to know it's okay, because these things can cause a lot more harm than good if they're not done right. But yeah, comes up through the crotch area, and then all the other buckles will attach into this. So I got to think about what step is next. Probably torquing down those lower bolts. Okay, the harnesses are in, at least the anti-submarine belts and the lap belts. Haven't yet figured out the shoulder straps because all the diagrams and everything I see have the straps going far back at a downward angle, and as you can see here, the bar is right up against the seat. The seat bolts right onto this, and so that could be okay, but the additional problem is, as I mentioned before, the angle from the straps will be coming at a downward angle down onto my shoulder when we need them to be horizontal here, or at least even going downward towards the back of the car. So I have to figure that out before I put the seat back in. So what I think I might end up having to do is drill two new holes here somewhere on the seat behind my head so that I can have it at a different height. The seat should be a little bit higher because these I can't re-drill. Like, these are welded on. If you notice, they have the well, you can't really see, but yeah, I can't fiddle with this position. But I always thought that the seating position was a little low anyway and a little too far forward, but I'm not going to drill new holes into the car at this point with such little time left. But I think what I can do is drill new holes in the seat and then have the seat mounted a little bit higher, and therefore the straps will... Oh wait, now I'm getting confused. Does the seat need to be higher or lower? Yeah, seat needs to be higher. But so if you see the location of these two holes right now, it's right on this welding point. If I show you the back of it. So like the new holes will have to be lower, but I don't know if I can drill like down here, which is kind of where they need to be, I guess, like down here. So not too sure. Alright, I've installed one of the shoulder straps, I think, correctly. I'm going to install the other one. I obviously cannot use these clips because there's no eye bolts back here. The only place is to attach it to the bar. Now, this is problematic, I think, because, again, that whole angle thing, this bar basically, the strap needs to be coming upward from behind me. And the way it's going to sit is it's going to be right under this seat mount plate, and this little 3-slide bracket is hitting this, so it can't really come at an upward angle. It has to come at a downward angle over my shoulders, but that's not correct because the Hans device requires a proper angle here. So I'm just kind of going with this and seeing where it goes, but I don't feel great about this. So let's go ahead and strap on this other shoulder strap. Alright, I've adjusted this to the desired length. So I'm going to come up from under the bar here, and then going to go through here, this 3-bar slide, up from under it, bring this tight, and then I'm going to go through here, and then back under the top. Eventually, with all this excess, you're supposed to roll it up and zip tie it. But we're not there yet. Alright, so now we have 2 straps. Alright, I'm going to put the seat in now and just do a practice fitting here, just to see if everything is generally feeling okay. Alright, now I'm in the car doing a test fit. Not meant to be accurate, but just trying to understand generally where things lie. Obviously, I don't have the seat mounted. I don't have the pads in. But I just want to get a feel after all this work to see if I'm doing anything right. So the crotch strap is definitely too long. I need to loosen some slack on that. Let's try this here. It's not going in. There we go. All right. So these are too long as well. I'm not able to tighten them enough. So shoulder strap's too long, crotch strap's too long. The hip, I think the hips are too long as well. Everything's too much slack. This is a spiritual journey. I am being tested. This is just really challenging me. I mean, this is just one of many things going on right now in my life, and outwardly most of them are really good things, but I'm definitely being pushed to my limit every day, and I am incredibly overwhelmed and just been having a hard time just overcoming these challenges. So yeah, it's just a inarticulate way of saying my mental health is struggling, but I gotta pull through. There's just a lot going on right now, and I gotta get this harness right because I don't want to die. Alright, seat's in. It's about as good as I can get it. I didn't bolt it fully from the bottom, but now I realize I can't get the 2 bolts into here because I used 2 extra shims to prop up the back ever so slightly so I could get a better angle for this. But now these holes are slightly offline, so I have to use this step drill to make these holes bigger, but not too big. See if that worked. Alright, that works. Alright, so I put the seat on, the padding on, and I just got in the car and tested out. Everything feels pretty good. The lap belts still feel like I want to tighten them a bit more, but now that the seat's on, even though I didn't fully bolt it on, it's still going to be a pain to get off. I don't want to have to take it off, but it's hard to reach down here and tighten these. So I'm going to see if I can tighten these lap belts a little bit. Otherwise, I'm going to call it a night. It's real late. And what else? Yeah, I do want to try everything on with my Hans device and my helmet just to see how it fits. But I think I might wrap up the video here. I'm not sure. If I do, thanks for watching. If not, see you in the next clip. Okay, so I checked with a friend and confirmed that this is indeed incorrect, the angle of the harness, as I suspected, and it's not good. So my only options now are to try to raise the seat enough such that my shoulders can get high enough where the belt is coming on horizontal, But if I do that, I'm going to have to drill new holes in here through the seat, and it looks like I only have about an inch worth of play before the holes would be now in this gap and can no longer screw onto the cage behind. So that's one dilemma. I have this other seat. Problem is this is too small, and it requires bracket mounts, which I think are in the trunk of the car, but in any case, well, that's just yet another installation, and I don't even know if this would be the right size or if I'd run into the same issue. So yeah, not good. More delays. I was going to install the window net. I filmed the intro for that, but then got the text from my friends saying that there was the issue with the harness. Even with the window net, though, I'm noticing already looks a lot different than the instructions, and I may have trouble with that as well. So very slow going here. All right, I've been debating long and hard the past half an hour or so on what to do. Do I just give up? Do I say I can't do it because I'm only half confident in this stuff and it's safety, so it's my life, and I want to be fully confident in it, and since I'm not, and I'm having to hack together solutions, do I just say, I can't make the first few events, let me take this to a race shop, hire someone to do it right? That's one path. Or do I continue to try? Do I try to raise the seat up? And for now, I'm going to go to Home Depot and I'm going to try. I'm going to buy more washers so I can shim up the seat. I'm going to have to drill new holes in the seat. I'm going to try to buy all new bolts because the bolts that are holding in the seat are bent. Some of the nuts are stripped. I was still going to use them, but it kind of needs a complete overhaul. I just didn't realize this. It's my mistake. I thought everything would be fairly straightforward. That's why I wasn't in a rush to do it a long time ago, and I was doing other stuff with the car. I thought a couple weeks out, get the safety equipment and just swap out the harness. No big deal. But it turns out it is a big deal. It's taking a lot of work, and it's not straightforward at all. So I'm going to go to Home Depot, try this as a last-ditch effort to see if it works, and take it from there. All right, back from Home Depot for the fourth time this week. It's already almost 10 o'clock, and haven't really started, and we're already behind. So I got a bunch of replacement bolts for the seat because the current bolts are just really old and bent and stripped. The nuts and washers are stripped. I got more washers, some lock washers and some regular washers, and I got a bunch of these flat washers for propping up the car to raise it. I got some zip ties for the harness, excess harness, and so yeah, let's see what we can do here. All right, what I'm doing is I'm taping all of these washers together just lightly so that when I stick them on the holes here and then I mount the seat, I have to lift the whole seat up and have the screws or the bolts drop into here. And when these are all loose, they just, as soon as the bolts touch them, they just fall everywhere. So by taping them, it's like a little roll. At least it stays together. So that's what I'm doing here. All right, if it's not one thing, it's another. So I was finally able to shim the seat up about an inch and a quarter on those washers. Everything looks great until you look up here, and now there's a huge gap, about 2 inches from the seat to this back mounting plate. Because of the geometry, the angle of how the seat lay before, it was at more of an incline backwards, so this headrest was touching the plate behind it. But now, since the seat is more upright, because I needed to jack it up, it's not touching, and that's not allowed either. So, still not good. All right, I tried again. It's almost midnight. I spent about 4 hours trying to figure it out again tonight, and no luck. Every time I think I'm onto something and I try something new, it just creates a new problem. Like I just said, now that I've propped the seat up, it's now too far away from that back mounting plate. And, if I prop it back down, well, then it's going to be too low again. And if I move it all the way back, well, then those holes the drill holes are going to be right where the shoulder holes are. So it's, I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably miss the event. Probably can't make it. which is really frustrating. Really frustrating. Yeah. All right. Sorry if I don't want to complain to you guys, but I am just documenting my experience, and I'm incredibly frustrated and overwhelmed, to be honest. So hope that's okay with you guys. If you're still here, well, you probably weren't bothered too much by it. Thanks for watching. I don't know if this is the end of one video or the beginning of another video. I have no clue. I've lost track at this point, but still trying to install the harness and not having any luck. So see you later.